2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. Hey, happy pre-Friday celebration. Holy cow, what a day it's been. Trying to cover everything. We have a big executive order we have to get to. We have Trump's speech from last night. What happened there? Also, another appropriations bill being signed this evening, which will be really... Is that happening right now? Hold on, we should probably check that, because we'll see if that's going on live as we speak. Yeah, okay, that's coming up here soon, so we might go to that live as well. Plenty to get to, plus Tim Manello will be on the program with the Goldwater Institute. We'll cover what he has to say on some issues and a heck of a lot more. Academic journals, are they still academic-y or not? Make sure to like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing for a pre-Friday. Hang tight.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. Holy cow, what a day it has been. We have so much to cover today, so little time to do it. We are definitely cramming that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag. Welcome into it. It is your pre-Friday celebration. You are just seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Another day of work before the longest and final full work week of 2025 is over. Who's excited about that, man?
Winning.
Yeah, I know you are, so welcome into it. Great to have you here as usual. It is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship station. All over the country, though, with so many great radio affiliates doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day on the show. We are awaiting, and if it happens during the program, we will break into it live at some point, but we are awaiting President Donald Trump right now to be signing another one of the appropriations bills. As we know, we have 12 appropriations bills. We have 4 or 5 of them that were completed before the government shutdown in October. Didn't quite get that all done. Another one, the Defense Authorization Act, the military spending, like the most important one that we do for the appropriations process to make sure our military continues on and our national defense is a top priority. He is about ready to sign that at some point here soon. So if it happens during the show today, we will go live to that and cover it at the White House with President Donald Trump. That being said, there is plenty to talk about. Tim Manello will be on the program with the Goldwater Institute at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk about academic journals, the political agenda with higher education, and are academic journals really like academic-y still? I don't know if they are. And is there a political agenda behind them? So we'll cover that in just a little bit. We have the Trump speech from last night, which I think was interesting. It was different, but extremely important, and we'll break that down on why here in just a bit. But then we have an executive order that was signed today.
What's trending today?
And we kind of knew it was coming. It was teased from Friday last week, and then it was going to happen yesterday, and then we heard it might happen today or tomorrow. Well, it finally did, and I'm telling you, the importance of this, I don't think we can stress enough. This is going to be a game changer on so many different levels. The Trump administration officially signs an executive order reclassifying marijuana from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 drug, saying this earlier today.
Today I'm pleased to announce that I will be signing an executive order to reschedule marijuana from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 controlled substance with legitimate medical uses. We have people begging for me to do this, people that are in great pain. For decades, this action has been requested by American patients suffering from extreme pain, incurable diseases, aggressive cancers, seizure disorders, neurological problems, and more, including numerous veterans with service-related injuries and older Americans who live with chronic medical problems that severely degrade their quality of life. And it's so really, I mean, just, I can't tell you, I think I probably have received more phone calls on this, on doing what we're doing. I don't think I received any calls on the other side of it, but hopefully this reclassification, which by the way polls at 82%, will help many of those patients live a far better life.
Boom. So this is a big one, and this is big on so many different fronts. So well done. Again, a major win. Major win for the Trump administration, at least in my opinion. You can disagree with that. What's the difference, again, between Schedule 1 and Schedule 3? We covered it, I believe, yesterday on the show, and it was anticipated to happen. But essentially now you're allowed to do medical research on marijuana, on cannabis, to see if there's any benefits to it, any benefits for medical purposes or otherwise. We're now allowed to research it. One of the arguments that's been made against this issue is that, well, there's no study that shows that it actually has any personal benefits to individuals medically or otherwise. But you can't, because it was a Schedule 1 that pretty much said it was the worst of the worst, and it was like going to kill you and make you a complete addict if you ever take even a little bit of it, because it's the devil's lettuce.
We're all gonna die because of you!
So now this is a major win on multiple different fronts. Politically, this takes yet another agenda item off the list of Democrats. They have very few topical agenda issues and items that they say they want to do now, because Donald Trump has either decimated all of them or has done it already himself, that they don't like. Reforming healthcare, getting the economy back on track, doing better trade deals, every issue, immigration, taking care of people, whatever. Every issue that's been like a line item issue for Democrats, we've either completely destroyed their arguments to where they're trying to rebuild it right now, or they haven't been able to do it themselves and they just don't like Donald Trump. I mean, that's really where we're at. Marijuana has been one that's been, as he mentioned, 82, 83, 84% approval to declassify, to reclassify from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. That's been essentially universal across the board for Republicans and Democrats. Maybe not some Republicans. They still kind of linger onto the old hatred against marijuana, but this doesn't legalize it. I want to be very clear. This does not legalize marijuana in the nation. What this does is it allows research. It allows the studying of medical benefits. It allows, if you are a dispensary in states that have legalized it, you don't have to worry about the federal government coming in and confiscating things, which they've threatened to do in many cases. It allows you to create bank accounts. If you are a business associated with it, you can actually open a business bank account now, which you were not allowed to do prior to. It opens up a lot of new doors and opportunities for the industry, but it does not legalize it. That is a big win politically for the young generation and against Democrats. Now, at the same time, and here's my prediction. I mean, this is a way, again, for the Trump admin to really take the narrative away from Dems.
Andy's prediction.
As we go into midterm election, this possibly wins over the men generation again. It wins over the younger generation. It wins over those that are sick, and health care is a major concern for them. And it even wins over some libertarians that have been really upset with the Republicans for not addressing this issue. This is, again, a big win across the board politically. It falls in line with, if you remember the first Trump administration, the Right to Try Act, that you can experiment with experimental drugs if you have a debilitating disease, cancer or something, and you're on your deathbed and you want to try an experimental drug that has not been approved by the FDA or the USDA. Trump allowed you to experiment with those because, like, hey, you're going to die anyways. Why not try something that might work that we haven't approved yet? And this falls right in line with his move with the Make America Healthy Again, RFK Jr., and a major, the other big win here, major slap in the face against Big Pharma that is scared to death about having other alternatives other than just pharmaceutical pills out there for you.
So President Trump, Secretary Kennedy have been pushing for change. They're passionate in their desire to help the American people, and they have relentlessly pursued this agenda throughout this administration. This also includes a deep passion for research, gold standard research, as Secretary Kennedy also says. But there's another side to the president that often isn't reflected in media reports, and that's the deep passion he has for the people in his life. And he has called me frequently about the people who are calling him, as he alluded to, who are saying that they've got problems and they got relief from some of the solutions we're talking about today. Howard Kessler, who's standing behind me here, who's a mutual friend of ours, was an early caller of the president. Many others have ever reached out as well. And Howard's been a passionate advocate for avoiding narcotics, especially in seniors, and particularly seniors suffering from cancer. And that's a population that is a very important one. And it's a sympathetic population that's desirous of trying new ways besides some of the conventional approaches that have been tested by pharmaceutical companies but have untoward side effects. At the beginning of the year, one of the first things the president told me, he doesn't actually tell you, he demanded from me, that my agency, CMS...
Nobody demands from him. Nobody. You have to know him.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Use the whole tools at his wherewithal to find a better way to help seniors. A passion for a population that has gotten left behind with these discussions. I promised that we would find an answer, even though it had not been done before. And today we are delivering on that promise.
All right, so that was Dr. Oz as part of the Health and Human Services Department under Robert F. Kennedy Jr. RFK Jr. not there. He was doing another announcement that we'll talk about a bit later on the program, but this is a major win for people that have been asking for this for a very long time across the board, Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, recognizing that a basic natural plant doesn't need to be at a level 1, a Schedule 1 narcotic of like, if you take this, there's zero benefit to it. It will probably kill you on the spot. It'll make you a complete addict. Like, that narrative is beginning to crumble. The younger generation really enhancing and saying, yeah, we really need to start changing this. And Donald Trump just did it, man. So this is a really big win. And on that front, I mean, between the pain, look, again, I don't use it. I don't use the products. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I hate the smell of it. I'm not a fan of marijuana, but there's so many other ways that you can use it now with the creams and with the candies or cookies or jams or whatever else they make with it. Who knows? But so many people medically. So many people coming from Colorado, I heard about it constantly, which is why they were the first state to legalize it medicinally, and then they went recreational. But so many people have talked about the creams that help with arthritis. If you have cancer or you have some type of illness and you can't eat, that actually makes you hungry so you can get substance in your body that allows you to get rid of joint pain or bodily pain or muscle pain or whatever. There's so many benefits. Now, like Mrs. Voice of Reason, she has her Hooser Health. She's a natural herbalist. She doesn't use THC products, doesn't use CBD. Completely other alternatives. There's so many people that use that industry that she doesn't go that way, but everybody starts to understand just the basics of, yeah, this is doing stuff for people. This is helping individuals. Now, the strength of it, if you use it like the straight concentrate, these 100% THC like vapes and stuff, there's some problems there. Maybe this will help regulate it more. I don't know. But at least now the research can begin on the medical side and we can start pushing back against Big Pharma. And can you imagine when Big Pharma realizes that there's a better way and a cheaper way, instead of spending $1,000 a month on pharmaceutical pills for your pain and for your hunger or for whatever else, that you can go to the shop next to you down the street and get a THC cream for like $20? Come on, man. Come on. I don't know, but I'd say that's a big win for us across the board. All right, we'll continue to cover that as more information comes out. Getting mostly positive response on that one across the board, as Donald Trump said. Not too many people hating it, but at the same time, it does not, and I want to reiterate, it does not legalize marijuana across the nation. It does, however, make the federal government back off a little bit on states that have legalized it, where there was always a threat, in some legal experts at the federal level have wanted to crack down on states that did legalize it when it was still a Schedule 1. That is not going to be a possibility now. So let the conversation begin. A major win, at least for those advocates on that front.
What's trending today?
On the other side of things, last night, if you listened to the speech from President Donald Trump, the address to the nation, it was interesting. It was a very interesting speech. I think it was very much needed, maybe not in the typical style that we're used to Donald Trump. And my initial reaction, the very first minute or two of the speech, reminded me of someone who maybe recognized that he started getting concerned about poll numbers and showed that the poll numbers were a little bit lower, and he wanted to try to address that, and it came off almost as like, hey, we're still doing things. But the more I listened to the speech, I think it was a winning speech. I think it was a rock star, and we'll break that down when we come back around the corner, because just like we saw today with the marijuana executive order, like we're about to see with the signing of the Defense Authorization Act, and like we're going to see in some other policy changes that he wants to do. But even before the end of the year, we've had a major year. We've had a lot of big wins, and I think that we really do need to hone in on the fact that we've made a lot of progress, even though it's been kind of sidestepped and distracted by with some other issues that we've seen across the nation over the past few weeks and months. So Donald Trump says America's back. Is that the case? I think we are in many cases. And does that set us up for a successful 2026? I'm telling you, if you want to see big wins, what we just saw today, I think rallied people and maybe hit that reset button of, oh, things are happening. A lot is changing out of Washington, D.C., and we're pushing back on some of the big deep staters that do not like what the Trump administration is working on. Did we say winning? Because I think that was winning. I think that was the theme of that last segment. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about the speech from last night, your thoughts on the medical marijuana that we could be seeing with the research at the federal level, RFK Jr., and a heck of a lot more. It's your pre-Friday celebration for the Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SHARP25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SHARP25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SHARP25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code SHARP25.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did two guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Mr. President, members of the Cabinet, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and for your leadership in rescheduling cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. This decision will accelerate scientific research and expand what can responsibly be studied. I'm a cancer psychiatrist and medical cannabis researcher at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Over the past decade, federal investment in research has helped transform cancer care. People are living longer than ever before. But cancer care is not only about treating the tumor, it's also about addressing the anxiety, the fear, the stress that can come with a diagnosis, symptoms that can interfere with treatment and make recovery much more difficult. Many medications we use for acute anxiety carry significant risks, particularly in the older adults. That's why we're studying specific natural compounds found in cannabis, including the non-addictive cannabidiol, to understand whether they can safely and effectively help manage anxiety during cancer treatment.
All right, so that's, by the way, when President Trump signed this executive order, surrounded by nothing but just doctors. That was pretty impressive. They're excited. They want to see some alternatives. They want to see this research be done, which has been called for a very long time. And for those that have been advocating for that to happen and the natural path and pushing back against Big Pharma, this is a big win for them on that front. Hey, I want to tell you about my friends over at Americans for Prosperity. As you know, going into 250 birthdays of this nation, we want to be so patriotic that we bleed red, white, and blue. Although we don't want to bleed in the first place, but by golly, we're going to be fueled with patriotism all year long, and we want to do that with the proper education, understanding the greatness of this nation and the greatness of the average American throughout the ages that have made this nation great. And that's what Americans for Prosperity is doing with their campaign for Take One Small Step. Go to takeonesmallstep.com. TakeOneSmallStep.com. You can find it. You can teach your friends, your family, your neighbors, your kids, your grandkids, whoever it is. Let's educate ourselves and get ready for a major 250th birthday of this nation with TakeOneSmallStep.com and our friends over at Americans for Prosperity. By the way, as you know, too, I'm sure you've heard the Upside app, which we've talked about as well. We only have a couple days left. That campaign is a one-week campaign with this show, and if you're getting ready for the holiday season, make sure to check out the Upside app. Use the promo code SHARP, SHARP 25. That is specifically for my radio listeners, for them to know that you're listening to us here on this program. And if you're going to go out and travel for the holidays, now's the time to use that Upside app and get some cash back for your gas. As you travel, go to Upside, download that app. On the Upside app at SHARP25 is the promo code for us here on The Voice of Reason. Okay, let's see. What do we have? Yesterday, the Trump administration making an announcement to the American people. And it was a strange one at that, but it was exactly what we needed. And what do I mean by that? We have been distracted for a while, I think, the past few months. Haven't heard a lot of policy, or the Trump administration at least has not had a chance to focus on policy because it's all been what I've been calling personality over policy. We have a lot of podcasters, a lot of quote-unquote influencers that's all about themselves, the drama they create, the gossip that's going on, as opposed to the policy of doing what we're supposed to do, which is to win people over with ideas and get people elected into office. And we've been distracted. And we've kind of forgotten the fact that this year alone, the 11 months of the Trump administration, has been the most effective, productive 11 months of any administration in modern American history. Could we disagree with that? I don't think anybody can disagree with that. Whether you like the policy or not, even if you don't like the policy, the number of things that Donald Trump has done, the most productive administration in modern American history, at least in the past century, that was a big win for us on last night as Trump went to the TV, reached out directly to you and said, hey, this is what we're doing because it is a major win for us, and thank God that we have this Trump administration.
And after just 1 year, we have achieved more than anyone could have imagined. Starting on day one, I took immediate action to stop the invasion of our southern border. For the past 7 months, 0 illegal aliens have been allowed into our country, a feat which everyone said was absolutely impossible.
Yeah, between that, between energy, between the economy, between foreign policy and peace deals and trade deals and everything else, Extremely productive, and I hope that it was a bit of a mind reset for us to realize, hey, let's get back to some policy and getting things done in D.C.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Mid-America Network News Business Report. I'm Andy Hooser. As we wrap trading up today for a Thursday, we had some higher numbers on the board today. The stock market responding well with the latest news. The Dow Jones up by 65 points in the green, finishing at 47,951. The S&P up by 53 points at 6774. And the Nasdaq in the green, 313 points at 23,000. News with the consumer price index as inflation is slowing, but still high over a 5-year period.
Prices are still rising, and if you look over a 5-year term, so this would be Trump as well as Biden, prices have cumulatively risen nearly 25%. And the reason why it hurts so much when you think about your wallet is that wages have not risen the same amount.
Energy market wrapping up with oil up 16 cents to $56.10 a barrel. Natural gas down 10 cents in the red at $3.91. Mid-America Network News Business Report. I'm Andy Hooser.
Oh! You are round MVP.
Yeah, man. Yo, Drew, I finally got round MVP. Round MVP.
No way. That was some ownage. It's a good thing you got me as your wingman.
Right. You mean when you threw that flash grenade at me?
Whatever, man. Huge round. Seriously, great stuff.
Finally earning round MVP takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes.
All right, class. I'm going to pass back your tests. And a high score goes to...
Brian.
Oh, yeah! High score, baby!
We're all good at something. Maybe it's breakdancing or skateboarding or video games. Whatever you're good at, you have the skills to make it happen. And those same skills will help you get to college. Visit knowhowtogo.org to learn what you should be doing right now to prepare for college. Start taking the steps at knowhowtogo.org.
I've got what it takes. So do you.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Joe Pags coming up. The president did his big speech last night, and it wasn't what a lot of people were saying it was going to be. Basically, just a report card in the first year. That plus former U.S. Representative, former Judge Ted Poe on all the happenings and more on the Joe Pags Show. That plus, of course, a big part of the program is you calling in. Look, we can agree, we can debate, we can yell at each other, we can sing a song together. We do it all right here on the Joe Pags Show, Monday through Friday. Today at 5 on the Big Talker, 1480 AM, KQAM.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Doctors assume a solemn obligation to protect children. Yet doctors across the country now provide needless and irreversible sex-rejecting procedures that violate their sacred Hippocratic oath by endangering the very lives that they are sworn to safeguard. The American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, battled the lie that chemical and surgical sex-rejecting procedures could be good for children who suffer from gender dysphoria. They betrayed the estimated 300,000 American youth ages 13 to 17, conditioned to believe that sex can be changed. They betrayed their Hippocratic oath to do no harm. So-called gender-affirming care has inflicted lasting physical and psychological damage on vulnerable young people. This is not medicine, it is malpractice.
Boom. So that was a statement earlier today from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with the head of the health departments there in Washington. I'm telling you, big wins today between the reclassifying of the marijuana issue that Trump signed the executive order with, the research on the medical side through the health departments, and now with RFK Jr. saying that we're changing the punishments and we're banning essentially the sex changes for children across the nation. And can you imagine the anger from the other side of the aisle not allowing to transition your 12-year-old kid into something different?
We're all gonna die because of you!
So angry. They're so angry. And that's where we go to with our next guest here on the program.
What's trending today?
Really happy to have on. There's a new report from the Goldwater Institute about academic journals and how they've been hijacked with a political agenda. Are we getting better with that, or is it still an issue we need to address with the youth of America as they go into higher education, thinking that they're coming out of college super duper educated? That's where we go to at the Goldwater Institute. Really happy to have on here Mr. Tim Manella. Tim, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, Andy. Great to be here.
Yeah, appreciate you jumping on the show. So the whole idea of the scientific method that we love, you know, you have a hypothesis, you do a research, you do your scientific method, you go through the process, and then you come out with the conclusion of, oh, I was right because of X, Y, and Z, or I was wrong. Let's put this in an academic journal, a scientific report, and let people know about the science behind this. Do we still kind of follow that, or is it more of, this is the outcome that we want to have, so let's have a quote-unquote process to prove that, and therefore we can say this is what the science looks like now?
Yeah, well, our report looks at exactly this issue through an analysis of one particular journal called the American Political Science Review. And we found some pretty disturbing things when we looked into this journal. And as you say, there's a lot of evidence here that the peer review system is not about seeking truth. It's not about going where the data and the evidence leads the researcher. It's really been taken over by political agendas in many cases. And this is the case with the American Political Science Review. which is one of the most prominent journals in this field. We found that it was taken over by a group of political scientists calling themselves the Feminist Collective. That was their term for themselves. And among other things, they promised when they took over this journal that they were going to institute a two-tiered discriminatory system of review, where when they were reviewing the submitted articles to their journal in order to pass them through the peer review process to say, this is a significant enough piece of work that this deserves to be in our highly prominent, highly elite journal in this discipline. We found that what they were saying was they were promising to if you were a woman or a so-called scholar of color, your work would automatically pass through the first stage of review. If you were not in those categories, your work needed to go through an initial step of review in order to go through the process. And this is just one of the disturbing findings we found here, where obviously what's happening here is the political agenda is overtaking and becoming more important than helping us understand, in this case, more about politics at an academic level.
Yeah.
And it's not the only discipline where this is happening, and we really need to take a closer look at it.
What a crazy time we live in. That is so funny. So if you had marked the checkbox, obviously, you're a woman of color. I'm sure if you have a different sexual orientation or sexual preferences, and you probably even go up even higher on there, and you can skip through even maybe another layer of the oversight on what you're actually writing on, then all of a sudden what you say is absolute gold in the APSR, the American Political Science Review. Let's go back a little bit. When did this start? When did we start seeing a transition of this is political philosophy, this is the peer-reviewed science, this is a scientific method to, you know what? Hey, if you have a different skin color, then you're probably way smarter than anybody else. I just want to hear what you have to say.
Well, you probably won't be surprised to learn that the Feminist Collective took over this journal. They were selected as editors of this journal in the great year of 2020. That's probably the least shocking thing you've ever heard. And they were very clear in their public statement. They said that the discipline of political science is structured by racism, heterosexism, and every other flavor of oppression. And they said that we need to actively undermine these oppressive foundations of our own discipline. These are political scientists saying that their own discipline is structured by racism, sexism, and heterosexism. And they made it their mission to rework this journal, to remake this journal into something that promoted a very clear political agenda. And one example of this is they were very clear that we are now going to favor work on race, gender, sexual orientation, decolonization, and we saw that they did exactly that. A quarter of all articles published during their tenure were about these topics. And guess how many articles directly analyzed the Constitution of the United States, something you would think political scientists might be interested in, right?
You would think.
3 articles compared to over 120 articles on race, gender, sexual orientation, and the rest. This is where the political agenda gets us, where the whole truth-seeking function of these journals is subverted in favor of this agenda.
Absolutely insane. Tim, I don't even know what it means to be decolonizing or to promote decolonization. What does that even mean? As far as I'm aware, we're not colonizing anywhere here in the U.S. or around the world. If we have military bases, then we're part of the other nation. We're not taking over land. In fact, we haven't taken over land in a very long time. So I don't even know when they talk about colonization, what does that even mean to them?
Oh, well, you don't get off the hook just because you don't have military bases colonizing something in continental, specifically colonizing something in the continental United States, because the whole idea behind this extremely poisonous idea is countries like the United States and Israel are illegitimate occupiers of indigenous land, that we stole it from indigenous people, and we are immorally occupying it. And this is a call. This is no exaggeration that people who subscribe to the agenda of so-called decolonization are about destroying the United States, about getting rid of our institutions because they are founded on what they see as illegitimate foundations. And so this is the fact that these political scientists said that was an agenda that they supported to decolonize their discipline is really disturbing, because the end point of this is, with no exaggeration, the destruction, the dismantling of the United States of America.
Yeah. That is the ultimate goal for so many, and it's really unfortunate. We're hanging out with Timothy Manella. He's the Senior Constitutionalism Fellow for the Goldwater Institute, with their latest report where you can see how the political agenda definitely has an agenda, especially through the American Political Science Review, while the quote-unquote science and the political science is leaning, obviously, in one area. I love one of the headlines, and maybe you can explain this one a little bit more, on the wages for earthwork. What are wages for earthwork? And I can only imagine there's something in there about, I don't know, reparations. You mentioned indigenous people, how bad they've been treated, because white person evil, they've never been oppressed in any way, shape, or form. So if you have a darker skin, you're automatically a victim of society. But what are wages for earthwork?
Yeah, this is a great example of how the journal favored so-called decolonization. And this article, which is something that was approved by the Feminist Collective, and they made a very big deal of how great this article was in their journal. This article calls for, it is very clear, it calls for reparations to indigenous people for their so-called earthwork, which is the work they apparently do to combat climate change. And I just want to point out here, this whole article is about arguing for this very radical policy of reparations. It's not an analysis of the effects of a policy that might be implemented. It's not an analysis of the ethics behind this. It is an endorsement, an argument for this extremely radical proposal. And this is just one example of the politically motivated work here. That there's another article that says, I'm calling in this article for, I don't even know how this would work, but in this article, they're calling for the so-called socialization of housework. This is the kind of so-called elite, cutting-edge political science research that's getting approved in this journal, and it's really disturbing.
It's really insane. Tim, hang on the line. We got to take a hard break here. This is the future, and when we have students going to college reading this and they come out of it, they're like, we're totally educated now because I read this and I'm so smart. We have some serious problems. We'll talk about some more of these when we come back and how we can continue to fight this on the home front. Lots more to get to for your pre-Friday. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use Use promo code SHARP25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SHARP25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SHARP25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code SHARP25.
As you know, I'm always looking for a good snack, but it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But now that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. I promise you'll be addicted. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
The Kia Season of New Tradition sales event at Midwest Kia is on, and the deals are stacking up just in time for Christmas. Right now, get 0% APR on select new 2025 Kia models with Kia Motors Finance. Then find the ornament on the windshield to stack another $750 off. Gift yourself even more savings with exclusive dealer discounts from Midwest Kia with up to 4% off MSRP. And yes, that can be combined with the national incentives. Trading in with qualified trade, get up to $1,000 additional dealer discount. That's 0% financing, ornament cash, dealer discount, and a $1,000 trade-in bonus. All on top of Kia's legendary value and 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. But hurry, these deals end January 5th. Visit MidwestKia.com or stop by today for a better way to buy.
We want to see ya in a Midwest Kia.
Example stock number K14927, 2025 Nero, MSRP 34,405, 4% dealer discount of $1,376, 0% APR up to 60 months plus $750 bonus cash with approved credit through Kia Motors Finance, $16 per month per $1,000 finance. Trade assist is a dealer discount available with qualifying trade-in 2018 or newer under 100,000 miles. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty.
We know right now is a really tough time, and the last thing you want to do is costly repairs to your home. Hi, this is Tony Javier with Professional Home Buyers. What if I told you that you never had to do repairs to your home again? That's right. Let us do the work for you. Just call 685-SELL. That's 685-7355. Whether it's a total fixer-upper or in perfect condition, we will buy your home as is and get you cash in as little as 7 days, all with no fees, no commissions, and no hassle. Professional Home Buyers will buy any property in any condition. Vacant houses, inherited houses, foreclosures, even homes in good condition that you just need out of. Call 685-SELL. That's 685-7355. Best of all, there are no banks, no realtors, and no showings to picky buyers. Just cash in your pocket quickly and when you need it. Professional Home Buyers, the easiest way to sell your home. Call us now at 685-SELL. That's 685-7355.
Professional home buyers, calling us pays to get your cash in days.
Napoleon Appliance Repair.
Your appliances get used every day, and we know how disruptive it can be when they stop working. Don't let your appliances inconvenience you. Call Napoleon Appliance Repair for anything from repairs to tune-ups and keep your household running smooth. Voted Best of for Appliance Repair 3 years running, you know your appliances are in good hands. 316-409-1525. It's Napoleon Appliance Repair.
Integrity and community.
Wichita's Big Talker, KQAM, has a new app.
Say what?
Keep KQAM with you all day long with our app streaming. Play games, take surveys, call your favorite shows, set reminders when your favorite shows start, and even sign up to win big prizes. Plus, get notifications on KQAM's big promotions, special programming, and so much more. Just search SC Wichita in your app store and find KQAM. It's everything you love about the Big Talker, all in one location. Download the app today.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, welcome back to the program. Great to have you today for a pre-Friday celebration, your final full work week of 2025 as we get ready for the new year. You have Christmas right around the corner. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays to you. It's great I'm excited, man. I'm always the eternal optimist, but man, 2026 is going to be, as Donald Trump would say, huge and bigly.
And I think we're going to make it bigly.
And that's what we're going to do for midterm elections and state legislative races and state legislative sessions around the country in different states. And it's going to be a fun one. And the continued battle against DEI, against the activism, and apparently, according to the feminist collective that's running some of the journals around the nation for political philosophy. Yeah, how's that working out? No. But that's what they're doing right now. We're hanging out with Timothy Manella with the Goldwater Institute, their latest report on some of these stories and articles that have been published through these peer-reviewed, the American Political Science Review, the APSR, from the feminist collective of trying to brainwash the youth of America and the young generation going through higher education. Tim, this is a wild battle. The stuff that I've heard is just almost laughable if it wasn't so serious in the fact that the young minds are actually absorbing this type of content. What can we do to battle this? How do we even get people on these journal and peer reviews in order to write some, I don't know, commonsensical content?
Yeah, I think you bring up an excellent point that some of your listeners might be listening to this and thinking, you know, I already know academia is crazy. I know they're publishing crazy stuff. Why is this important? It's important because this is the way that faculty are judged. If they can publish in these so-called peer-reviewed journals, that's a big feather in their cap for their advancement, for getting tenure, perhaps. And this is what they're expected to do as faculty members at our public universities.
Yeah.
And those faculty members go on to teach our young people at those public universities and other universities in general. And so if these academic gatekeepers, like this journal, are not doing their jobs to make sure that they advance knowledge, not advance the political agenda, then we need alternate ways to hire faculty, to advance faculty, so that we finally do something about the extreme political imbalance on campus. And so we actually start to prioritize education of our young people at universities.
Yeah. It's a really great point. If this is the way that they work their way up, and again, for the young generation, if they don't know any better, and I'm sure that if you're going into political science, you already have some sort of view, some sort of opinion, but if you're trying to learn, if you're trying to do well, and if professors are going to grade you the way they want to grade you, and you're reading these reviews and have to give a report on them in some fashion, this is the content that eventually you're going to start accepting in some fashion, or at least saying, well, they maybe have a little part here that I agree with, and we start slowly. It's the conditioning that we're starting to see in society, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And one thing I think is really significant here is the extreme imbalance in terms of articles in the APSR on the Constitution versus articles on those left-wing concerns that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And again, the number is 3 on the Constitution, over 120 on these left-wing subjects. And
out of those 3 on the
bias,
out of those 3 on the Constitution, how many of them were on the idea of federalism and the federal government not having overbearing power over the states?
So federalism, there were 2. So there were even fewer that explicitly addressed the concept of federalism, which is an extremely important concept to understand our system of government.
Yeah.
And what this shows is that you would think that students taking political science courses or students majoring in political science would learn something about the foundations of our system of government and the important principles like federalism, like freedom of speech, like self-government. And what we see here is the people teaching them are not really concerned about those things at all. They believe those subjects are old and busted, and there's nothing we can learn about them anymore, as evidenced by what's in this journal.
Yeah.
And so we need to change the incentives here. And one of the policies we're proposing in response to this report is to reward faculty members that teach core courses in American civics and in constitutionalism, whereby they can get tenure from being excellent teachers of these subjects, and they don't have to go through these left-wing peer-reviewed journals that don't really advance knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think that's a way we can get greater quality of education in our public institutions.
It's a great idea. We got to start moving. We got to start pushing back on this because they've hijacked it and they've had dominant authoritarian control essentially over this for a long time. Go check it out, the Goldwater Institute. Go see the report. Tim, we got to get you back on, my friend. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Let's do this again real soon, brother.
Really enjoyed it, Andy. Thanks a lot.
Hey, likewise. Appreciate it very much. Back at it tomorrow for a Friday. Until then, be your own voice of reason. We'll see you back on the radio. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now